Hello everybody, and welcome to Path of Adventure. I occasionally come back to Path of Adventure to get a little action in, and I've been playing it the last couple of weeks. Everything's been pretty fun. I love Path of Adventure. Find it in the iOS store. It's completely, fully accessible, top-rated game of 2019. The developer's name is Jordin Key, the beloved Jordin Key. I love Path of Adventure. It's a role-playing game. It's got a little gotcha element. It's got a little technical element. It's got a little tactical element. It's got a little Final Fantasy element. It's one of my favorite games. I play it occasionally. I get really, really into it, and I'll play it like for weeks at a time. Currently, right now, I've just beaten the fighter. I'm playing him again, or her again, or them again, because I just want to see if I can beat my top score, which I think is 185. Just recently finished the rogue at 395. Just hit the mage to about 105. Was at 52 before. So I've beaten every single level, and I'm hoping I could throw a couple quick tips for those of you who are playing the warrior. First of all, when you play the warrior, you want to basically start counting your ring of fury that does double damage. You want to save that up for bosses, number one. Number two, you definitely want to get the marble shield. That's definitely a win on any level. If you get the marble shield, that's a win. Having a sharpening stone, hoarding those sharpening stones are very important. If you're playing the mage, you definitely want to store up those mana pots as much as possible. I'm trying to think of any other tips. I've noticed a lot of people have a little trouble with the assassin, and I've never had trouble with the assassin. That's really took the shortest time to beat the game with the assassin because of the damage and that you always get to attack first. The key to an assassin is try to level out your stats and look for opportunities to avoid conflicts that you don't need issues with. Try not to take on every single boss that you meet. Same thing goes with the thief. To me, the thief is the hardest class to play in the game because the ring bearer is not that bad. You just either get a good start or a bad start, and you go from there. With the ring bearer, all you really need is the flame sword, the lock picking knife, the marble shield, and some rando weapon of any kind, or randa weapon of any kind, or randex weapon, and you're fine. That's all you really need to get. What really gets hard is when you play the thief, because the thief is all about getting the highest score. My score in the thief is about 385. I'm trying to get the thief maybe to 500. It's so hard. You literally have to sell all your elixirs of growth because they sell for the most money. You've got to sell like everything. I love it. The thief is very challenging. I've not beaten the 385 yet, but I'm going to keep trying. Today, so far, I'm playing a warrior. I'll give you a quick look at my equipment. And
volume, speaking rate, 80%, 60%, 55%, text selection. Speaking rate, volume, speaking rate, text selection, lines, words.
Okay, so
Undo, button.
Let's see what I've got here today.
Heal potion sold out, dimmed.
So
button.
I'm at the merchant. I've got a pretty good setup. I just recently got rid of my goblin club. I used it to kill a demon, which was great because I went through a whole ruin, got a goblin club. It was cursed, which was really awesome, Jordin, to give me a cursed club after going through a ruin, though it wasn't a big deal. Killing a demon with a cursed club is always a good deal, and that's another little trick. Always get rid of your cursed weapons. I don't care what their stat is, unless there's some fabulous, super awesome weapon, and they usually are not. Just get rid of them. I like to bash them into anything I can. Like if I get a cursed weapon, one of the tricks to getting rid of a cursed weapon is to take that cursed weapon and bash it into the bushes, bash it into the spider web, bash it into any kind of small creature that's got a lot of armor, and long as you're protecting yourself as far as defense, you should be fine. That's how I get rid of cursed weapons. Everything else is great. Oh, I love enchanted weapons. Those are what really make it so that you can beat this game easily. one of the best runs I ever had is I had an enchanted weapon with a +2 attack, and I had an enchanted shield with a +2 speed, and I had like everything fabulous. I had like super quick weapons. I had got extra elixir of growth from a mushroom. And that's another trick you should keep in mind. The elixirs of growth sometimes come from mushrooms. The mushrooms can be elixirs of growth, so don't be shy. Grab that little thing that you can get sometimes. It's a something that tells you what the mushrooms do. So instead of using that woman who you meet along the road, I prefer to get that little item you buy at the shop and discover my own mushrooms. That way you're not giving her all your best mushrooms. Another way to use mushrooms if you're worried about taking the damage, if you're worried about getting poisoned, another good trick is before you fight a boss that you know you're going to be healing up for, go ahead, if you know it's a really hard boss, at least a boss from, I would have to say at least at the first one, if it's a goblin chief and you really don't know what's going on, you don't really have a lot of good equipment, power up on mushrooms. You don't need to conserve everything in Path of Adventure. Sometimes it just pays to just blast through it and use everything you've got, especially if you're playing a weaker class like the thief, you're playing the mage. You really want to just blast through it. Do not play too tricky because you're going to go down easily. Especially if you're playing a mage and they're not very strong physically. They don't get very many weapons. You don't want to be overusing your magic spells. So tricks for the mage. Basically, let me give you my quick trick list for every single class. For with the rogue, everything's incredibly simple. Just remember you heal, so don't waste healing potions. Try to increase your health to at least 20 or higher. You'll start healing for an enormous amount. Get yourself a good shield. Keep at least a quick weapon and a slow weapon. Make sure that you hoard up those keys, those torches. Be focused on not overdoing it. The rogue has a tendency to be very greedy. Many people overuse it. They go into every dungeon, they go into every fight, then boom, what happens? You run straight into a werewolf and he whoops your butt. So don't do it. Don't overdo the rogue. It's a simple class to beat the game with. It's very easy. Don't overdo farming with the rogue. Get what you need and then start being very picky and choosy. Be very picky and choosy near the end of the game. I would say with the rogue, you really don't have to be picky and choosy till you're out maybe past 30 or 40. Other than that, if you really want to farm with the rogue, feel free. Farm with him very heavily, but just be cautious near the late game. If you've got everything you need, stop farming. Avoid taking the mansion, the whole cabin in the wood thing, the whole experimental monk thing. Try not to accept those missions if you're pretty well set. But if you've got good stuff, don't worry about it. Go for it. As far as the warrior, I've already talked about the warrior. I gave you some pretty good tips on the warrior. Keep track of your ring of fury. Know when to use it. Try not to lose valuable healing items. Hold on to mushrooms. If you can I can teach you a nice little trick with the warrior. You can kill the last boss with one attack. It's very hard to do. I've never done it with one try, but I've done it just to see if it worked. You basically get this. Let me show you what I've got in my inventory. This is how you do it.
Story. Dimmed. Inventory. Button.
All
Inventory.
right. So
Dimmed.
go to weapons.
Character. Button. Character. Character. Main menu. Weapons. Heading level 1.
Okay, so with weapons
Name.
I've got
1. Marble shield.
Okay, marble shield is a must, definitely, in case you get hit first.
Artifact. Defense. Plus. Sell treasure plus 2. Basilisk fang.
The basilisk fang is the key. The basilisk fang. It is the most powerful weapon in the game. The beauty of the basilisk fang is it usually doesn't miss unless your enemy is the Hydra. Be careful if you're trying to use this strategy in the Hydra. You can miss the Hydra, so you better pump up on speed a little bit. So better save yourself at least 1 or 2 speed mushrooms to make this strategy work. So take the basilisk fang, which does
Artifact. Attack. Plus 25 up to 30.
25
Speed,
up
plus
to
3
30
single
attack.
use. Holds
Okay,
one last
you're starting to
shot with
see
deadly
the
venom.
abuse coming, right? So up to 25 to 30. Jordin, don't watch this part. So up to 25 to 30 attack, right? So you have that ring that makes you do double damage. So if you hit something with this,
Artifact.
minus their defense,
Attack.
you
Plus
can do
25 up to
60
30.
already,
Speed.
right?
Plus 3 single use.
Plus
one
your
last drop of deadly
current
venom.
attack strength, plus whatever mushrooms you have. But that's not all. I got even more little tricks up my sleeve. So let's say you lower their defense with magic. That makes it so that you're going to do even more damage. But I've got even more tricks up my sleeve. You can still occasionally, it's very rare, probably less than 1%. You can get 2 rings of fury, which means you can quadruple your attack. It's not a cheat. It just happens occasionally. Once in a while, you'll get another ring. So the beauty is the Basilisk Fang doubled is absolutely fantastic, but you gotta couple it with mushrooms that give attack. So pump up all the mushrooms you possibly can. I would say get at least 3 attack mushrooms, get it up to about 9. That's gonna double to 18. The 30 might double to 60. So 60 plus 18, that's going to be 78. Whatever your attack is on top of that, you're usually not going to miss. Throw whatever boost you can get on whatever attack. Take as many attack boosts as possible. And if you, this is the hard part, you have to forsake a little bit of defensives. You've got to add attack. So take a couple of elixirs of growth and throw in some attack, maybe 2. I would have to say minimum 2 to 3 to make sure this works. And then when your attack doubles, it's gonna be so hideous. You're gonna smash anything. No matter what, the person you're fighting, as far as a boss in the last level, which is 50, they cannot get away with just 1 round. So they're gonna run. The minute you hit them with 70, 80 damage, they're going to want to run. If it's the Basilisk, it's dead already. If it's the Dragon, it's maybe got 1 hit left to go. If it's the Giant, it's got 1 hit for sure. So then you just hit it 1 more time, boom, it's done. So that's the key here. So that's my trick, Basilisk Fang.
Attack. 25. Up. Cell 3.
Let me
attack.
show
Cell
you
treasure,
my
4. Attack. Cell heal potion.
Heal potion.
Bottle of green unfiltered. Cell sharpening stone.
Sharpening stone's key.
Improves the condition. Cell treasure. Ring of brawn.
Ring of brawn. Okay, because I keep saying ring of fury, ring of this, ring of that. It's ring of brawn. So ring of brawn plus Basilisk Fang, you're going to get that awesome combo. But by the way, this is probably one of the hardest combos to pull off in Path of Adventure. Do this only if you just want a unique challenge. I call it the one-shot combo. It's very, very difficult. I give this a 9 out of 9 for the most difficult combo to pull off in Path of Adventure. But that's all I have for you guys today. Playing the Warrior. Make sure you look up Path of Adventure by Jordin Key in the iOS App Store. Fully accessible, top game of 2019. I've got a whole playlist you can find out in my description goodness. Check it out. I've done a movie, A Path of Adventure, fully approved by Jordin Key. He loved it. He thought it was cute. He thought it was awesome. I think it's amazing. I do a lot of voice acting on it if you want to check it out. It's me doing a playthrough of Path of Adventure with a little side adventure added here and there. Did some acting in it, try to do my little thing. Anyway, hope you are all enjoying the beginning of this week. Happy Monday. Make every day your best day. As I always say to you, love yourself, each other. Be safe out there, and be kind, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.